This is what, everybody clamors over, the best fighting the best. This is what my dad used to talk to me about when he used to watch fights 40 years ago when you had Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard and all the greats, the four kings, and people adored them because they're really competitive fighters, blood and guts. If you can get through being in a 100-something degree gym, sparring and training, once you get in front of those bright lights, it's pretty easy for me.
This fight is considered the biggest fight in Australian boxing history. The caliber, the event, the world stage, it's on the line.
A lot of different opinions. I'm not at that level. I passed my prime.
It's my whole future.
Two elite warriors, one explosive showdown, and a battle where pride, legacy, and redemption collide as Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu finally go ringside.
Like, you know what, let's go half a marathon the day after. But the challenge of completing half a marathon on no training, it just woke me up. I was like, this is what it's all about. I like when it gets hard. When life gets hard, when shit gets hard, that's when I feel alive.
In camp at home, he's in bed at 8 o'clock. It's a very strict regime.
Look, he's an elite fighter. For him to achieve what he wants to achieve, it's not just nutrition, training, recovery, mindset.
He's got a will to win, almost like Michael Jordan has that will to win back in the day with Bull. He had that, I can't be beaten.
Ahead of him is a target he has chased for years, and now he is ready to prove why the doubters have been completely wrong.
He has a target to get to, and he's going to get to that target whether you're in front of him or 10 people are in front of him, or he's fighting 20 people at once. He's possessed, like he's possessed to reach his target.
I'd imagine there have been times, particularly after hard sessions or bad sparring sessions with injuries, where he's gone, is this me? Is this what I should be doing? Have I done this for the right reasons? But he's always come back to it. And that would show you that at his core, regardless of his surname, he is a boxer. And he has it within him, whether it's genetic or otherwise, to dig deep, to continue on, to show that resilience.
It is a journey of hard work, sweat, and sacrifice, as his training routine at Bangkok Gym showcases his power, discipline, and dedication.
It comes easy in the fight, so this is where the hard work is done, First week and a half, one round feels like 5 rounds. There's a whole different feeling in these conditions. So it's been a battle like that. You get in there completely sweating, it's drenched, it's hot, there's no air, but you find ways to keep on getting better.
4, 3, 2, 1.
On the other side, the heat is rising as Errol Spence Jr. sharpens his tools, builds his arsenal, and prepares himself for fight night, making sure no room for improvement remains on fight night.
I feel like Terrence Crawford, he's a guy that's gonna go for the kill, especially if he smells blood. But once the lights turn on and the bell rings, it's wartime. I feel like that's a legacy-defining fight.
For a boxing champion, it never hurts to have a takedown specialist in your corner. For today's sparring session, that's Micah Parsons, Cowboys all-pro edge rusher. A man who admires Spence because he hits like him.
Spence is working like a man on a mission for his comeback. He is fully grinding through intense sparring sessions with heavy-handed punchers, testing his limits and sharpening every weapon in his arsenal. The focus is clear as he keeps the momentum running, preparing his body and mind for the challenge waiting inside the ring.
Different game. No one can save you out there. You're on your own. If I miss a tackle, I got someone to get my back. If I drop the ball, someone can pick me up. If Earl drops the ball, that's over.
While his opponent seeks an edge high above sea level, Spence hunts for his in the searing Texas heat. He knows in the pick'em blockbuster ahead, the smallest of margins could tip the outcome.
The mission is far from ordinary, and Tim is pushing himself beyond limits, knowing exactly who stands in front of him. His team sounds confident that the way they are building their fighter makes him a force to be reckoned with. From intense sparring sessions to brutal exercises and a full war mentality, Tim is heading toward one of the biggest fight nights of his career so far.
And Tim is a thinker and a fighter. For me, he's unbeatable. Fight to go. 6, 7, 18, 19. There it is, Timmy. Good boy. Power into that one. Good boy, Timmy. Beautiful. Good boy. That's very good.
I think that what we're seeing now is evidence of the work that Tim has been put in.
On one side, Spence stands as a fighter who did not end his career on a good note and has returned to show why he still belongs in boxing. On the other side is Tim, a tough competitor who has faced struggles and is now determined to prove his worth. Roy Jones Jr. praises Spence for choosing a dangerous challenge like Tim.
To see that he's back in boxing. The boxing world is glad to see that he came back. We all want to see him make a comeback. We don't never want to see a guy go out bad and not try to come back, because that's what boxers do. I know he took a lot of things into consideration. He even told me when he spoke to a few people about it, and that was a good thing. But I'm glad he made the conscious decision to return. And I think it's a smart return, because it's also against a guy who was on the way up there, who made it to the top, but had some struggles, and now he's on the incline trying to get back up too. So it's two guys trying to get back up. I think it's a great situation. But the biggest thing I gotta say that I love about Errol Spence is that Errol don't want no easy fights. Errol don't want to fight guys that are nobody. Errol want to fight
AKA
somebody.
no tune-up.
Everyone in boxing is talking about the fact that Spence still has the courage and ability to return straight into a major challenge against Tim without asking for a tune-up fight. Andre Ward highlights the mentality Spence brings, with less talking and more action inside the ring. According to Ward, facing Spence remains a serious risk because his skills and experience can still create problems despite his time away.
No,
he don't want no
tune-up. He
tune-up.
wants challenges. You understand me? He wants challenges. And for him to challenge a person like Tim Tszyu, when Tim Tszyu has been regularly fighting for the last 3 years, he's been not doing much. That says a lot about Errol, but that tells you exactly how much fight is still left in Errol. Errol is a guy who's always coming to the party to dance. He don't have time to play no games, and you gotta love that about Errol.
He's always been that guy, even in the amateurs, you know, and I've always had respect for Errol Spence because he's a real fighter. You know, he's not a guy that talks a lot, but he brings a big stick to the battle. And you know, when you deal with Errol Spence, you got to bring your lunch pail, because he's going to bring it, and he's nothing to play with. Obviously, being 36 years of age, being off as long as he hasn't had the tune-up fights. And by the way, I need my tune-up.
But as the fight build-up progresses, the question remains about how much Spence still has left to overcome Tim. Sean Porter shares his thoughts by reflecting on his time with Spence and understanding his mindset. Porter believes he sees him defeating Tim. He also feels Errol taking this challenge without a tune-up fight, and that too in Australia, speaks volumes about his confidence and preparation.
That's just who he is, you know. I'm inclined to believe that Errol Spence beats Tim Tszyu, because I feel like there were prior to a fight with Terrence Crawford, I feel like he would have beat Tim Tszyu, and I think that, to me, I don't believe that much has changed in that amount of time. He has taken a tremendous amount of time off. He says that he just was waiting on that itch to come. He did tell me that he felt like, you know, he did consider retirement at one point. He'd done a lot, and people don't realize this. The dude had done a lot.
Sharing his thoughts, Sean Zittel insists that Spence's skills are far superior to Tim's. The ability, pedigree, and style Spence brings are levels above what Tim has faced. He also believes, after watching him train and prepare under Ronnie Shields, the idea of Spence being ready is gaining momentum. The more footage comes from the camp, the clearer his condition and mindset will become.
Open mind. Spence has a much better jab than Tim Tszyu, and the word he kept using was pedigree. You know, he has more pedigree than Tim Tszyu, and he's a dog. You know, like, He's a guy who'll go out on his shield no matter how long he's been out of the ring, whatever form he brings to the ring. And I'm gonna keep open mind. I want to see some mitts with Ronnie Shields. I want to see how he's looking in camp, and I may be persuaded to go the other way. We got 2.5 months before now, but those are my initial impressions of this fight.
Trainer Ronnie Shields details a rejuvenated camp for the Tim Tszyu fight, explaining that Errol is not only motivated, but refreshed by the idea of his return. The comeback fire is fully ignited inside him, pushing him to work harder than ever. According to Shields, Spence is embracing every challenge in camp and preparing with the hunger needed to make a powerful statement on fight night.
Excited to come to the gym and wanna, he wants to train. He wants this so bad. And that's the thing that, with fighters, man, if they look down or whatever and don't want to come to the gym, then I know their mind is not on it. But that's not the case with him right now. Yeah. He's excited. I think he's rejuvenated to the point to where, this is, it's like it's new all over again. Yeah. And this is what makes the good fighters. Yeah. When you want to do this, when you know how to do it, but you want guidance to do it. And I think that's where he's at right now.
The long layoff from boxing is a major factor, but Terrence Crawford is also backing Errol and believes Tim is walking into something he has never experienced before. Discussing it with Sean, he stays firm on choosing Errol over Tim. However, Porter highlights the other side, explaining that Tim's consistency and recent activity could give him an advantage against a fighter returning after time away.
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on. I just like to support, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots' locker room supporting him, So it's just crazy how the tables turn. When people get to a certain plateau and they forget about things like that.
We picking Earl. I'm picking.
Of course. Of course.
Sean and Sean.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sean better.
We gotta see.
Wow.
B side is more towards Tim. I'm definitely towards Errol. I just feel like Errol, even though we haven't seen him in 3 years now, I think he's still.
As fight night draws closer, Brian Mendoza has revealed surprising inside information about Errol Spence Jr. that could shape expectations for his blockbuster clash with Tim Tszyu. His comments offer a fresh perspective on what fans might see when the two finally meet in the ring.
I can't just, I'm not just using the same bag of tricks every day. I have to go home from the sparring and think about, okay, well, what am I gonna do next time? You caught me with this. Those are signs of someone that is really thinking, still loves what they do. He has a passion for it, and that, along with I feel like this time that he's had off has helped him recover. So I feel like that mixed with his punch resistance, being there, and just Spence being Spence, man. I think he's gonna give him a hell of a fight. And
building on that discussion, Jacob DeLeon believed the fight would come down to mindset as much as skill. He suggested Errol Spence Jr. was still recovering mentally from his loss to Terrence Crawford, while Tim Tszyu had lost the confidence that came with being an unbeaten champion. DeLeon said that once self-doubt crept in, the fight became much harder.
I see this fight. I mean, boxing's boxing. It's a mental game. Both of these guys are still, I think, recovering mentally. Spence hasn't been in the ring in I don't know how long. Still was coming off that accident when he did fight Crawford. I don't know if he ever fully recovered from that. But even with Tszyu, man, I think there's an aura about you when you're a world champion. Like when you're untouchable. Like, I don't know, like if you saw Conor McGregor in the UFC or Kamaru Usman, there was a time where like they were on. You know what I mean? There was no doubt in their mind that they were gonna lose. Their hand was gonna be raised at the end. And I think once you lose that and you start doubting yourself, it's a completely different ballgame.
A fighter being a sparring partner for Spence in his fight against Tim speaks volumes and believes Spence will make the challenge extremely tough. For those picking Tim, he feels the final version of Spence will be revealed inside the ring. But one thing is clear, both fighters must show the world why they chose this battle, because making the decision takes courage, but delivering when it matters is what gets remembered.
And just Spence being Spence, man. I think he's gonna give him a hell of a fight, and it's not such an easy fight to choose anymore. A lot of people are picking Tim in this one, but it's a lot more up in the air than they think.
Yeah.
So Jacob, Tim Tszyu, is he going to have his hands full? How do you see that?
I see this fight. I mean, boxing's boxing. It's a mental game. Both of these guys are still, I think, recovering mentally. Spence hasn't been in the ring in I don't know how long. Still was coming off that accident when he did fight Crawford. I don't know if he ever fully recovered from that. But even with Tszyu, man, I think there's an aura about you when you're a world champion. Like when you're untouchable. Like, I don't know, like if you saw Conor McGregor in the UFC or Kamaru Usman, there was a time where...
Adding on, Bernie the boxer shares his thoughts confidently, predicting Spence to defeat Tim. In his view, it will not just be about beating him, but Spence will slowly break him down. He insists a fighter remains a fighter, no matter the time away or personal struggles. Spence is returning because he believes he can win, and the last defeat cannot define him. Now he is back to do his job brilliantly.
Errol Spence gonna do the four corners with him, man. Errol Spence gonna beat his ass, man. Errol Spence gonna mow him down, man. Like I said, you know, that rest did him a lot. You know, he probably had a lot of personal problems. Fighters go through things. He been on the road since 2012. So that was 2023. He did like 12 years straight. He been on pay-per-views. He been fighting all these good fighters back to back. You know, he taking care of the family. He living his life. You know, he needed that break. Now he didn't, you know what I'm saying? He came to peace with everything, and he a champion. That's why he coming back. He a winner. He can't go out like that. He's a winner. And I'm expecting him to mow this guy down. He got more in his toolbox. He got more than he showed, but sometimes he didn't have to pull it out.
Coming back to boxing after a break has helped Spence, and Bernie believes he will show up on fight night. He highlights how time away has seen many boxers return, improve, and rewrite their stories. That experience has created moments of redemption, and he expects Spence to follow the same path. Bernie insists that everything Spence has in his tools will be displayed once he steps inside the ring.
Shout out to Lamar Peterson. He got on his toes a little bit, boxed a little bit, kind of stepped around a little bit. So, you know, he got more things, you know. If you watch him spar, them guys, they always show more in the sparring sessions, you know. But it's so much pressure on you in the ring, you know, you want to just be safe. And it's hard to pull out some of that stuff that you do, that you're more comfortable with doing sparring. But he got more in his toolbox. So, you know, this might be his era where he pulling it out, just like Gaddy. Everybody thought he was a slugger. You see that man start boxing, using the jab, stepping around. That's how he saved his career. Same thing with Barrera. That's how they went up. They used the other things that they had in their toolbox to prolong their careers, which made them bigger money, bigger resumes, bigger everything, you know, so I'm expecting him to do the same.
After the long hiatus, Spence feels more excited than ever to bring his boxing back. He explains how staying away has helped him grow, and the version fans will see could resemble his prime years, except with the lessons learned from his last performance. Now he is focused on showing that time away has only made him stronger and more prepared for this comeback.
Tell me, what version of Errol are we getting ready to see in this next chapter?
Just a more rejuvenated, explosive, you know, just a powerful Errol Spence that they've been seeing, minus the last fight.
He promises to bring his A level to the game and insists he is coming to defeat Tim in front of his fans. Not choosing a tune-up fight, he accepted a tough opponent to prove his worth. Fighting in his opponent's country, Spence feels this is a major legacy moment and a reflection of his personality. Now, he aims to prove why he made these bold decisions.
Really just I'm really just doing it for myself. Like, I mean, life is about experiences. Life is about, you know, taking leaps, and you know, it's a big leap, but I think that's just a dope experience, just to go to someone else's country and conquer. You know, that was a dope experience for me when I went to Sheffield and fought Kell Brook, and I think this would be very memorable, me going to Australia and defeating Tim Tszyu in front of all his fans.
Camilleri concludes with an honest reality check, admitting that while his loyalty lies entirely with his countrymen, he would never gamble his own livelihood on the outcome against a peak version of the American star. It leaves the final verdict shrouded in deep suspense, hoping for a devastating victory, but fully aware of the lethal threat across the ring.
You know, it's a hard one.
I can't really give an opinion.
Yeah, I can't. I want Tim to win. I really do want him to win. If you told me to bet my house on it, you know, I'm not going to put my house on Tim. I think Spence at his best was a better fighter than Tim, but I'm 100% Team Tszyu, and I hope he destroys him.
Working closely with Tim, Joel highlights the difference in fighting capabilities between him and Spence, insisting that timing and accuracy. According to him, both fighters bring unique skills, but he believes Tim's pressure and style will create serious problems. While acknowledging Spence as a great fighter with a strong resume, he still predicts Tim will break him down and secure the victory.
My last fight at like 70, so he's a big boy, so he's ready for that weight. Spence is an ex-welterweight, but it's not even about weight, it's about timing, and Spencer's got great timing and power. Tim's got good accuracy. Well, maybe he'll increase his power at middleweight, but I just think that hey, it's a dangerous fight, and we all know that.
Who wins it?
Oh.
It's a hard one.
You know, it's a hard one.
I can't really give an opinion on it.
I can't. I want Tim to win. I really do want him to win. You told me to bet my house on it. You know, I'm not going to put my house on Tim. I think Spence at his best was a better fighter than Tim, but I'm 100% Team Tim Tszyu, and I hope he destroys him.
The countdown is over, and now the world waits to see who proves they belong at the top. Spence returns with a mission, while Tim enters with confidence and something to prove. 2 fighters, 1 ring, and everything on the line. Who wins this battle? Share your prediction. Hit like and subscribe for more boxing stories and fight updates.